What is up, everyone? At the movies with Matt and Ryan on this beautiful 10-degree day. Matt is here for a.
It's 15. Let's get it right. As a mother.
It's all.
So not much to do other than go to the movies.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And we did.
Today's review, we saw the film All the Money in the World, which, I feel like if you say that title to people, they'll be like, what? But in the common knowledge, it's the movie with that Kevin Spacey was starring in that they recasted his role. Pretty last second. It was a month before release, so... the film, it's based on a true story. To how accurate it is, I've heard not very, but it follows the kidnapping of 16-year-old John Paul Getty III, who is the grandson of is it Paul Getty? Pretty sure. Yeah, John Paul Getty II, who is the richest man in the world. He's a billionaire, but he will not pay the ransom for his grandson, so his mom, played by Michelle Williams, is kind of on the case to try to, rally a way to kind of get him out of kidnapping, or his situation.
So is Charlie Plummer and Christopher Plummer related?
I don't think so. To my knowledge, I looked it up a while ago, because when I saw he was casted, I was like, oh, okay. I don't think they're related at all. No.
I don't know. After watching this movie, I really liked Christopher Plummer as the grandfather. I thought he was actually kind of the I think he was the main show. Like he was the best actor out of all of them. Or like
originally, Ridley Scott, the director of the film, his intention was for Christopher Plummer to play this part. Kevin Spacey was kind of the backup when Plummer, I think he was busy shooting something else, but with this situation, it worked in Christopher Plummer's, his schedule, so he could come back and be in the movie, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I
think he's better than Kevin Spacey would have been, because I think Kevin Spacey would have probably really hammed it up. He would have kind of overacted and made it less of an authentic character.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think Plummer was the perfect role for this, and it didn't even look like they had to reshoot everything. I think everything was well put together. It didn't seem messy.
Yeah,
I think that's Ridley Scott. That's just him being Ridley Scott. He's a great director. This movie was great to look at for most of it, and. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was a little worried in the beginning because they were doing the time period stuff. They were going between different times. They went forward, then they went backward, then they went forward again, and it was getting a little ridiculous. I was getting a little worried at the beginning, but as it went on, I think the intensity really ramped up, and the movie got more interesting in the story as well. So I really liked this movie a lot, to be honest.
To your point about Ridley, refilming, it's definitely impressive what he did. The fact that he did it in less than a month. The reshoots began November 20th. So to think that they literally and they finished filming it the 30th. So the movie principal photography finished the 30th, and then they had 20 some odd days to make a final product. So I give him a lot of credit, because there's very few moments where I noticed that there'd be any problem, but I feel like if someone didn't know about the recasting, they wouldn't notice entirely, which is, he deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and it sounded like Christopher Plummer was small role, he was in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah, he's definitely in he's in probably 30-40 minutes of this movie, I would say. So yeah, I agree. It's not like it was kind of a bit player.
Yeah.
But I thought this movie was good. I don't think it's anything that memorable or significant. But I think this is a movie where Ridley Scott's skill as a director really shines. Why are you yelling, guy? Try to record. Oh my god. But I think his skill as a director really shines between this and Alien. He's had 2 movies this year, so
yeah.
I give him a lot of props. He really keeps this narrative moving at a good pace. I think stylistically, I love the different dynamics he brings to different scenes. Like, I like the scenes where uh, Michelle Williams' character and Mark Wahlberg's character will be kind of going to the car and the press surrounds them, and then
Yeah.
the camera gets all shaky, and there's kind of like this. Like, I think each kind of set piece he really brings a distinct kind of different style to, which I enjoyed a lot. I think the more tense moments of the movie, he really ratchets up the score in a really impressive way, and it gets you really involved. So I think Scott visually has always been just a great director, and I think here he really brings his A game.
I think a lot of, and I love when directors do that. They just like that's why I love It Comes at Night so much, when you just ramp up the score, and I think that was really effective in this movie. And I think Michelle Williams was really good. I think that I don't know. I think, like you said, she didn't have like a ton to work with, but the parts she did, I really saw like the pain she had and stuff, and I don't know. I really enjoyed that.
I mean, Michelle Williams is one of the 5 best actresses working today. So any part she's in, she's gonna nail, and of course she nails it here. I don't think the movie. I think it is kind of one of my major problems with it. It is very Hollywoodized. It's kind of shallow, where it much of the focus is on telling the beats of the story rather than giving us a full-fledged dynamic of these characters. I feel like the only character who really is very kind of well-rounded is Getty himself. I think Plummer, his performance is able to kind of capture the nuance of his charm, but this kind of coldness behind that, and how he kind of pushes away his family in some aspects. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought he was the most interesting character in the movie. I also credit Charlie Palmer and what's his name, Romain Duris, who plays one of the abductors for Getty's son or grandson. I really liked their dynamic in the movie. It was kind of interesting. I didn't really expect it. I didn't really see where it was going. So I thought both their performances were really good, and I liked their dynamic together. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think Ridley was trying to do that at the beginning, like kind of bring like some development to like Michelle Williams and like even Charlie Plummer's character, like in the beginning, and like how like Plummer was narrating. I don't think it was that effective, and I think that's one of my problems in the movie, but I could definitely see the attempt there.
Michelle Williams, like, from the halfway point on, is giving a one-note performance, and I don't think it's her fault, but it's just her being concerned. Like, she's not really... We're not really able to see anything other than her concern. Like, the movie doesn't kind of let us into more of what she's thinking, Like, I think that was a missed opportunity.
Well, I think my argument for that, though, is that, like, any parent would act like that. You see it in Stranger...
No, I get it, but there's more nuances than that than just concern. Like, they didn't let, what are you really feeling about this? And, with the dynamic with Christopher Plummer, I feel like there was just something more interesting, something more... I think human, because I think a lot of the movie brushes off kind of the character details for more of these, story beats, which is fine in some senses, but in others it kind of makes the characters kind of the background. It makes them less important to what's happening.
I see. I liked how it was more about the story, and I think I understood like what Michelle Williams was feeling, and I understand that we didn't get like a lot more with the concern and everything, but I think it was kind of implied too, like why, like obviously she's not married. Well, I don't want to spoil it actually, so I'm not going to say that. But I think there's a lot of things that are implied with her character too that like isn't spelled out.
Well, I get the background details, but like I don't need background details. I just want to see more scenes of her. Like while doing this, she was still a mother with kids. How was she kind of handling that?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like aspects of the character that I feel like get kind of pushed to the side just to focus on the narrative. If this is supposed to be our main character, like I would have, and like I think the movie would have been better if it. Honestly, Mark Wahlberg's character, I wish he was either not in it as much,
he was a goof.
Just especially recasted, because I think Mark Wahlberg really falls flat here, and it's a lot more of a major role than I think it should be, because the character really is kind of just he has a slight presence in the movie, but I think they overstate his presence, and I feel like he's definitely the aspect of the movie that was Hollywoodized. Like I could
Yeah.
kind of tell that some of the stuff he does, like the big speech he has at the end to Paul Getty, like I felt like a lot of his aspects of the movie made it less kind of
Yeah.
realistic.
I agree, and I think that he had a lot of lines that were just like typical Mark Wahlberg. I don't like I agree. I like he was there a lot of the scenes and probably most of them honestly, but he wasn't there. If that like makes sense, like he was just kind of like really not much to him. Didn't like he was just I don't even know like what was his job title. Like I don't like I don't even know what that was. Like I feel like
he was kind of just he was Getty's like. I mean, first he set up all of his like defense and like security stuff, but he was also his like kind of his like private eye, like his.
Yeah.
I need this done. Go do it. Like,
yeah.
I just I don't know. Like I feel like if the movie kind of cut back on his role and focused more on Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Because the family dynamic is what is the most interesting thing about the movie, other than the narrative. So I feel like if they could have really balanced those two out. Instead, it's the narrative takes a major precedent to the characters, which I think it's just a less involving emotionally. Like I feel like there was moments where it could have hit you as an audience, and it really just didn't.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. But I think what Ridley was trying to do was focus mostly on Plummer's situation and the story in general, and I really enjoyed that story. I think it was really entertaining.
I think the story it's engrossing through most of it. I think the third act does feel a bit too elongated. It goes on, I'd say 10 or 15 minutes too much, but as a whole, I think the movie is enjoyable. It has moments of tension. It's definitely engaging, and I think there's some really good performances. I'd almost like to see. Like I'd say everyone besides Mark Wahlberg is like really, really good and on their A game. Like I feel like with a script that would allow for more nuance with these characters, I think the movie would have been a bit more accomplished. Because as it is, it feels like a very Hollywoodized movie.
Yeah, I can see that. Thinking about it,
I still enjoyed it. I liked it for what it is.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so we'll go into ratings.
Yeah, I'll give it. I was deciding. I'm gonna go with a 7.5.
Okay, I'll give it a 6.5. I recommend it, but more as like a matinee, or you'll catch it on TV. Like I'm not like glowing about it. There's better movies out.
Matt advises people to see it at a matinee.
Yeah, but like that's how we saw it this morning, and I think for that it's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely better movies out. If it shouldn't be your first priority.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I agree. All right. Well, there you go, guys. So check it out if you want, and I'll put this review up on YouTube. Check out our past content we've done. We've actually been putting up quite a bit lately. I think we've done 2 or 3 in like a week. So, so check those out. Like, share, subscribe at The Movies with Matt and Ryan. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you.